Hello and welcome to Kids Kingdom Sunday School. I'm Eden.
And I'm Sarah.
And it's August, and you know what that means? We have a new faith word. Woo! And this faith word is one of my favorites. I really like it. And our faith word this month is courage.
Ooh, I love it.
I love the faith word for this month. Courage means choosing to act in faith even when you are afraid.
I love it. It's so good. So good.
This whole month we are talking about some courageous women in the Bible. Exciting.
I'm super excited about it.
It's like Girl Power Month.
It is. It's Girl Power Month.
Yeah.
You were talking about when we were doing our practice. We do a practice before we record. And Eden was talking about how it's exciting to talk about women for the whole month, to have a whole bunch of stories in a row about women, because sometimes we talk about one here or there and we don't always talk about a lot in a row. So it's exciting to have several in a row.
Yeah.
So we're excited, and I hope you're excited, because we get to talk about a whole chunk of some really awesome ladies from the Bible who did some really cool stuff.
I'm going to tell you something. Some of these stories I don't even know. I know a lot of Bible stories, and a lot of these I don't even know.
So this is
more like some of these.
Some of them, yeah. So today was one that you were like, I don't really remember this one.
Well, I don't think I've ever heard of it.
Yeah. So she was excited to hear the one that we're going to talk about today. And so, who are we talking about today? What's our lady's name for today?
Today's story is about a woman who is willing to help even though it was very hard and dangerous for her. Talk about courage. Her name is Rahab. And her story is found in the Old Testament in the book of Joshua 2, verses 1 through 24.
Yeah, so Eden's going to read part of her story in just a minute. But because she's not going to read the whole story, I got to tell you a couple things about it really quick. She's not going to read the beginning of it. So the beginning of Joshua 2 is going to tell you an important bit of information. She's going to jump in at verse 4. And it's going to talk about some men in the story. The men in the story are spies from Israel. Without me telling you that, you'll be like, who are these men that she's talking about? Because we talk about how it's important to know who we're talking about in the Bible story. They're spies from Israel, which it's important note in the story. And Rahab is going to be helping them. Yeah. So that's the key part that you need to know that we're going to skip over in the beginning. So,
and
what's the fun fact that you're going to share about Rahab?
Yeah, fun fact about Rahab. Her house was built into the wall of a city.
In what city?
Jericho.
And you guys might have heard about Jericho, because I think a few weeks ago, or maybe several weeks ago, we talked about Jericho.
It's like a really good story.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing how it all fell down.
It's kind of amazing.
So the question,
you have a wonder question. Yeah. What's our wonder question?
What do you imagine it would be like to live in a house that is in the wall of a city? Now, when I thought of this question first, I thought of it would be like a safe house. But then I kept thinking about it, and then it could be dangerous because she lived maybe she didn't live in the wall of a city, more like connected to it. But I think it would be like a really safe house.
Eden's first word, the instinct was that, it would be really safe. And my instinct was like, it would be really noisy. Because I thought everyone would have to walk past your house to get into the city. Yeah. So that's what I kind of thought. So Eden's going to read, what verses are you going to read? You're reading part of the story for us. You're reading verses
4 through 14.
Okay.
So it's only a little bit snippet of a story.
So why don't you hit us with our Bible story for today?
All right. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. Then she said, "Of course the men came to me, but I didn't know where they were from. The men left when it was time to close the gate at dark. But I don't know where the men went. Hurry, chase after them. You might catch up with them." But she had taken them up to the roof and hidden them under the flax stalks that she had laid out on the roof. The men from Jericho chased after them in the direction of the Jordan up to the fords. As soon as those chasing them went out, the gate was shut behind them. Before the spies bedded down, Rahab went up to them on the roof. She said to the men, "I know the Lord has given you the land. Terror over you has overwhelmed us. The entire population of the land has melted down in fear because of you. We have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea in front of you when you left Egypt. We have also heard what you did to Sihon and Og. Is that right?
I think so. Sounds good to me.
The two kings of the Amorites on the other side of the Jordan. You utterly wiped them out. We heard this, and our hearts turned to water because of you. People can no longer work up their courage. This is because the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on earth below. Now I've been loyal to you, so pledge to me by the Lord that you in turn will deal loyally with my family. Give me a sign of good faith. Spare the lives of my father, mother, brothers, and sisters, along with everything they own. Rescue us from death. The men said to her, we swear by our own lives to secure yours. If you don't reveal our mission, we will deal loyally and faithfully with you when the Lord gives us the land.
Thanks, Ed.
Now, as I was reading something, I was like, didn't the wall of Jericho fall down?
Yeah.
And I was like, wouldn't her house get crushed?
Well, yeah, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, yeah, Rahab had to make a decision. Would she help these spies or not?
Yeah.
And she knew that if she helped them, she could get in big trouble. And if she did not, that could be bad too. Because she knew that they were servants of God. And she knew that she seemed to understand who God was. She seemed to understand that God was on their side and God was powerful. So she had a choice to make. And she chose to help these spies, and she chose to protect them. And it took courage to do that. And her courage paid off because of what you were just talking about, Eden. Because when the Israelites came to take over Jericho, we know, if you continue to read in the Bible, the walls of Jericho did come down. But guess what happened? Eden, you know what happened.
Rahab and her family.
Rahab and her family, what happened to them?
They stayed safe.
They were safe.
The wall was like, so this is Rahab's house, and this is the wall.
Yeah, they were safe.
Yeah.
So if you want to check out the rest of the story, keep reading in the book of Joshua. But they were safe. And the promise that the men made to her, if you secure our lives, we'll secure yours. They stick with it, and it came true. Their promise was fulfilled. And so her choice of courage paid off. And we're going to take a look at a couple wonder questions that Rahab's story brings up, because I feel like Rahab had to make a decision here, and she had to make a choice to be brave even when it was scary. So our first wonder question that we're going to look at right now is, when have you been brave even when you were afraid? And I think you have a story about this, Eden.
I have a story about it. So we went to our friend Ethan's birthday party, and he had his birthday party at the Howell Nature Center. And one of the things you can do at the Howell Nature Center is go ziplining across this kind of mini pond. It isn't deep at all. It's like 3 feet deep. But like it was super high and fast. And I was so scared.
It was pretty long.
Yeah, it was really long. And I am terribly afraid of heights and falling, so it was like a big no-no for me. Like
when we got the invitation and Eden read that there was ziplining at the party, she said, I'm not going ziplining.
Because one of the things I think of ziplining is climbing up a ladder and jumping off a little thing.
Yep.
I don't like ladders, but it was actually really safe. It wasn't a ladder, it was a hill that you jump off and you slide down. And I almost didn't go, but I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. And when I did go, it was so fun, and it was like a magical experience that I wanted to do again, but you can only go once.
So you chose to do it even though you were afraid?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Are you glad that you did it?
Yeah, I'm glad.
So it paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of like Rahab, right? So the next question that I want you guys to think about is when, and I think this applies to Rahab as well, when have you had to be brave to help others? Because being brave or having courage isn't always easy, and it doesn't mean that you you aren't going to be afraid. It just means that the fear doesn't stop you from doing it. And I think that's true for Rahab, because she probably was afraid. She knew that the people in the city were looking for these men. And she knew that she could get in some really big trouble. But she chose to hide them anyway. She chose to have courage and to do the right thing and to keep these guys safe, even though it could have probably cost her her life. She was brave, and she made a choice. And she and her family were saved as a result in the long run when the Israelites took over that city. She made the decision to be brave and help others even when she was afraid. Sometimes we have those same kind of choices to make when it comes to helping people. And a lot of times for us, it isn't always about a life or death situation. Sometimes for us, it's about having to stand up when nobody else is willing to stand up and do the right thing, or having to do something that's uncomfortable when we'd rather do something that's more comfortable. I want to tell you guys about something that actually happens every Saturday right down the street from our church. Actually, it's called the PB&J Outreach, and this is a group that is in our community. It meets every Saturday morning at 6 o'clock. And do you guys know what they do? What do you think they do with a name called PB&J Outreach?
I think they make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
They make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And you know what they do with the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? They go and they give them to people that don't have any food. But you know what time they make the peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at? They get up and they meet at 6 o'clock in the morning to make these sandwiches on a Saturday.
I am fast asleep on a Saturday, and I do not wake up till about 9 o'clock.
Yeah, same. So this might not seem like a super brave or courageous thing to do, but sometimes when you have a choice to help somebody, it means putting your comfort and your needs aside. So sometimes it might be more comfortable to sleep in and to stay in your cozy warm bed than it would be to get up early and go make sandwiches for people. But that's kind of why I feel like this is a brave and courageous thing, because I think sometimes it takes courage to give up doing something you'd rather be doing, like sleeping, to help somebody who really needs something that you don't have. It takes courage to go to a place that's different from the place that you live, because they take these sandwiches after they make them. Some people get in a van and they go downtown to Detroit, and then they pass out the sandwiches to people that need food.
Yeah.
And guess what? If you Google PB&J Outreach, you can find out more information about this. Anybody age 7 and up can go and make sandwiches.
Even with their families?
With whole families can do this.
I want to do this.
I know, we can do this.
Yeah.
I think it would be awesome.
That would be hard because
we'd have to wake up early. We'd have to wake up very early, but it would be okay. But so if you want to Google PB&J Outreach, if you and your family are interested in doing this, check it out. Google it. But I Googled it, and this group has been making sandwiches for people for 19 years, and they haven't missed a Saturday. So that means that they go when it's smoking hot out. They go when it's
That's actually insane.
rainy. They go when it's freezing cold.
The dedication to do that.
But that is, to me, that says that they're willing to put the needs of others before their own needs, and that, I think, is courage and bravery, and
dedication.
Maybe in a different kind of way. And I think that is a way to be brave that we sometimes don't think of as bravery. We have to think about helping people, and that kind of helping people, that kind of courage, we sometimes don't think about. But that kind of courage we can all do. And I think that because these people who put together PB&J Outreach, they said, we're going to have the courage to try something new to help people. They've had something that's made a difference in our local community for 19 years. And I think that's pretty awesome, because they were willing to be brave and try something new. people's lives have been changed for 19 years. And I think that's
I
awesome.
think that's really
So
cool.
we're going to have a month, guys, where we're going to learn from the women in the Bible about courage and about how to put courage into action. And from Rahab, we learn that our fear can't stop us from being courageous. It doesn't need to stop us. That's when we get to trust God extra. So fear doesn't mean that we stop. It means that we get to put our trust in God even more. And I think that's awesome. So it's not about not being afraid. It's about trusting God when we are afraid. And I think that's one of the cool lessons that we get to learn from Rahab. And I think that we're going to learn some more cool lessons from these other ladies as we go through our month of August. But for today, I would love for you guys to pray with me, and we'll ask God to help us to have courage this week to trust Him even when we are afraid. So let's pray. God, we love you so much, and we are so thankful that you want us to be people of courage. Lord, we thank you that doesn't mean that we'll never be afraid, but it means that we can choose to act in faith when we are afraid, God. So help us to be those people that act in faith when we are afraid, people of courage, God. Thank you for Rahab. Thank you for the lessons that we've learned from her. And we just pray, God, that you would help us to think about her this week and to think about the things that we've learned. And Lord, I just want to pray a special prayer for the people who work in the PB&J outreach, and we pray that you would bless their ministry and help them as they help other people. And we pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. All right. Our memory verse this month is from Psalm 27, verse 14. Hope in the Lord. Be strong. Let your heart take courage. Hope in the Lord. One way you can practice your memory verse this week is by writing it down and posting it somewhere you can see it throughout the week to help you think about it and remember it. And I have some big exciting news. Coming up on Wednesday night, we are meeting up at the church for a big picnic and play night. Bring a picnic dinner and plan to play a bit afterwards. We'll meet at 6:30. If it rains, we'll move inside and do a few indoor activities. So plan to come either way.
So hopefully we'll be outside.
Hopefully.
But if we have to, we'll move indoors. So bring your dinner. We'll hang out. We'll have dinner together.
Yep.
We'll play.
Rain
We'll
or shine.
Rain or shine.
Either way, that's all for today. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great week. Bye.